Hey guys, Justin here. I wanted to take a quick second and let you know about Growth Now Movement Live, coming to Reading, Pennsylvania, May 30th to June 1st. This event is going to feature some of my top guests like Fabio Viviani from America's Top Chef, best-selling author and future board expert Sarah Centrella, Albie Manzo from Real Housewives of New Jersey, and many, many more. This is going to be a game-changing event. It is truly going to be a day-long rock concert for entrepreneurs, forward thinkers, and people who are ready to take their life to the next level. So if that's you, head over to gnmlive.com and grab your tickets today because prices are going up soon. Again, go to gnmlive.com now to level up your life and truly create the life of your dreams. Can't wait to see you there. What is the secret to unlocking your full potential? What makes your idols any different than you? How do you become the person you've always wanted to be in life? This is where you get all of your questions answered. My name is Justin Shank, and I sit down with some of the most epic individuals who are changing the world with their actions in business and in life. We discuss how they did it, why they pushed themselves, and more importantly, how they were able to focus on continuous growth to achieve their dreams. Welcome to the Growth Now Movement. This week, I sit down with my friend, Michael Marcial. Michael is the founder of the Facebook mentorship group, The 5-Figure Workweek. So Michael is somebody who's built an online community of individuals that he mentors to get to 5-figure work weeks because he is somebody who went from rock bottom to doing this himself. And you'll hear in this interview about how he went from literally living in his car and having to tell his 2-year-old daughter that he doesn't have a place for her to sleep, to him building an empire, and now him mentoring over 3,500 coaches on how they can do it themselves. This episode is guaranteed to inspire and ignite a flame in each and every single one of you to work a little bit harder to make one more phone call so you can live the life of your dreams. Michael is somebody I connected with probably about a year ago, and we've really connected. We've been able to get dinner together when I was out speaking in Utah, and we just hit it off because he's genuine. He truly wants to help, and he understands the power of giving. Now, before we get into the episode, I want to remind you guys that we are right around the corner from Growth Now Movement Live. There are currently less than 20 tickets available. So if you want to come hang out with me, Fabio Viviani, Albie Manzo, Sarah Centrella, and so many other speakers, go to gnmlive.com and claim one of the less than 20 tickets, and I will see you guys there. I cannot wait to meet in person. Now, without further ado, I give to you my friend, Michael Marcial. Michael, welcome to the Growth Now Movement, man.
Dude, it's been a long time coming. I'm ready for this. I just hope you, your audience, ready for some straight up fire. I don't even know what we're talking about today, but it's just been a pleasure. I mean, it's a pleasure to be here. So let's freaking rock and roll.
It is a long time coming, and to kind of give some insight to that statement, I actually interviewed you probably 6 months ago, if not longer ago. And the internet connection was terrible, and I was like, I can't even use this audio file. And then now we've hung out in your hometown and we've gotten dinner together. Now we're finally here to record the show, man. And I'm excited too because, we were just discussing before hit record how we connected a little bit over a year ago. And you have this online community. We're going to get into that later on, but like the growth of that community says so much. It says a lot about you as a being. It says that you have so much value and content to add, which I'm pumped that you're going to with my audience. And obviously this group that we're talking about is called the 5-Figure Workship group that, people can sign up for. I think it's like $5 a month, cheap like that. And it's kind of been a journey, and it's been fun to watch the people interact with. But why don't we take a second and you just tell my audience who you are today, and then we'll break down how you got.
Love it, man. Love it. So Michael Marcial, I am the most regular dude you will ever meet. Normal dude, typical upbringing, single family, single mom raising 3 kids, hard struggle, always did okay in school. Luckily made it into college, although I was super broke, but super ambitious. Got a lot of grants and scholarships, which I was thankful for. Realized college wasn't necessarily for me. I was the person that was ready to go do things, and I was tired of sitting and consuming and digesting a bunch of information. And at 19 years old, I was contracted to consult my very first company. It was a super small startup doing about 50K a year. A small team. It was one person and like somebody that he contracted out. When you're 19 years old and you don't know that you can fail, and you don't know that you don't know everything yet, you just go freaking hard. And so that's what I did. We actually leveraged YouTube because it came out, like a year or two after I started working with this company.
Mm-hmm.
Started putting out great content, racked up millions of views on YouTube, and I recognized that led to sales. Leveraged that to work with bigger and bigger companies over the years. And 5 years ago now, this journey of working with people like myself that wanted to do things like I had done, that's really where it kind of stemmed from. The 5-figure was born when I decided to stop working for these big companies doing $300-400 million a year and working with us, like working with entrepreneurs, working with people that wanted to get on more stages, attract better clients, and show them how I had done it. And so that's the brief snapshot. I've got my own struggle list. I've failed time and time again. And now I'm here. I speak a lot around the country and sometimes internationally, 50, 60 times a year. I get to hang out with cool people like Justin Shank. We get to grab some dinner and drinks. And it's just been a fun ride. Fun, super difficult, but amazing ride.
Yeah. And I think there's so many people that, especially that I talk to and myself, you talk about, and we'll get into the difficult side of things. When you have those rock bottom moments, all your way out of it, because it's not the easy thing in the world, that's what makes it rewarding once you figure out, once you start to hit the next steps in your life, once you start to figure out the path that you're on, and then all of a sudden making money doing it, all of a sudden you're making even more money doing it, and then all of a sudden you're impacting lives and teaching other people how to do it. It's just been this crazy journey. And I think you need the rock bottom moment in order to get that out of life. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%, man. Like, for me, the rock bottom, it represents an extreme, and in a lot of cases, that's an extreme low. And what I've learned about life is that when you're sitting in the middle of things, you're not in the rock bottom and you're not sky high. You're right there in the gray middle area.
You're comfortable.
It's comfortable. Yeah. It's comfortable, and we don't push. We don't go harder in any area of our life. And so for me, I've hit that rock bottom literally 5 years ago, really, is when I was going through the same transition. I didn't recognize this at the time, but I wasn't just transitioning from consulting these companies to working with entrepreneurs like myself. I was going through a lot of transitions. I ended up going through a divorce at the same time, slipping into a depression at the same time. And it wasn't just, oh, what a coincidence. All these things are massively. It was like I was the one common denominator for all of these things.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that. I really just didn't get it. And for about 9 months, closer to a year, I was in that gray zone of just like, life's good. I'm like, my physical health is all right. My relationships are all right. Like, things are good. Right. And I didn't feel the pain of staying the same. I didn't get it until I was asked politely to not sleep in my apartment anymore. And, I had a brutal yet amazing 2 months to sleep in my car before I recognized the fact that I was like, dude, if you don't get off your ass and do something, you're going to be eating trail mix and lemonade for the rest of your life because that's all you can afford to eat. You're not going to be able to take care of your daughter unless you really feel the pain of what you've created here. And so, man, the rock bottom is sometimes a huge blessing for you just to wake up and recognize what you don't want in your life. So that, and this is why I love your show, man. That word is growth, and now. Growth right now. If I didn't grow, I don't know if I'd still be alive, to be honest with you. And that's the honest truth. I don't know. Like, I just didn't care. I was so lukewarm on anything. I could have took or left my life. I didn't, it was that point where I was neutral on it. Yeah. And that's bizarre to hear maybe. And it's even more bizarre to say, but that was the truth. And it wasn't until I felt the pain and the sting from smacking on the bottom to realize, holy crap, if I'm as powerful as I can create this mess, I am equally and opposite powerful to create something I've never seen before in my life. Yeah. And that's the direction I chose to go.
How big was that moment? And I'm one of those people that I accept blame even because then all of a sudden you have control. Like, obviously you're accepting blame. You're saying it is your fault that all these things started to crash around you all at the same time. But the big shift was realizing that. How did you come to that realization? A lot of times when we're in our depression, we push off, we blame other people. Like, what was your like, okay, no, this was my fault. This is all my fault. Like, how did you get into that mind?
It comes back to being, raised by my mom, not having my dad in my life. A lot of times when parents get divorced, you can, you have your weekend with your dad, you see him through the week or whatever the case might be. I didn't necessarily have that. My dad was not accessible to me. And so for me, the moment that I recognized it for real, because I always justified, I was like, you know what? Gosh, like, it'll be okay. I'll sleep in my car. Something's going to happen. I'm fine. I didn't identify myself as homeless, although I didn't have a home. And it wasn't until it was, I'm sleeping in my car like for about 4 days. And that weekend coming up was quote unquote my weekend with my daughter. Where's she going to sleep? Right? How am I going to protect her? How am I going to take care of her? And so I pick her up and I'm like, hey, babe, we're going to go get some food, like the dollar menu, like the last few dollars I had. We're going to go get some food and then I'm going to take you back to your mama. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I can't lie to you. I don't have my apartment. So, I don't have a place to take you. She understood what I was saying. And here she is.
How old at the time?
She's a year and a half,
Wow.
almost 2 years old. She's brilliant, by the way. Before she was 1, she was already speaking almost in full sentences. Wow. Brilliant little girl. She's 6.5 now and going on 26 and a half. She owns
Good luck with that one.
Yeah. She owns me. Rightfully so, she owns me. So here she is. She's like, she nods her head like, okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay. Why don't you make more money is what she asked me. And that was the realization that it wasn't okay. I am at the bottom. And it came full circle for me in ways I can't even describe to you. And hopefully you can infer that not having my dad in my life was a big impact. It has an impact on me now. And here I am. I have the ability to be in her life. I have the ability to protect her and to provide for her. And I'm not doing that. And I didn't want her to experience life the way that I experienced it. I want her to have more. I want her to experience more. And that to me was like a knife in the gut. And I just chuckled. I was like, holy crap, you are correct. Like, why am I not taking action? Why am I repeating the cycle in your life that I didn't want myself? That was a huge aha. And I'll tell you what, the reason the 5-figure week even exists is because over the next week of my life, I went hard on all of the skill sets that I had. Definitely not the mindset that I need, but I went hard on all the skill sets that I had to reach out to people that I could actually serve. And I made a quick offer to them for me to work with them one-on-one. And I made this offer for $1,000. I was like, hey, for $1,000, you get 2 months. I'm going to do all these cool things with you. And 5 people said yes in the next 72 hours. And I was like, holy crap, that's $5,000 in my pocket. And I'm sleeping in my car using McDonald's Wi-Fi.
So in 3 days, you made $5,000. I want that to resonate, but I think the big lesson out of all life often hands us actions that we've seen like that. It just became natural for, and it almost became second nature to fall in line with what happened with your father and then not being able to deliver your daughter. And most people then hit that rock bottom moment. Their daughter goes, well, why don't you make more money? And a lot of those people just go, yeah, you're right. I'm a loser.
Right.
Not, yeah, you're right. I'm messing up and I can do much better. So if anybody's listening now and they're in that moment and they're listening to this and like, oh, I can resonate. This feels like I hear this message. Like it's about being, I am better than this. And it's that action that you take for that. And that's what you did. You started to make phone calls. And then I'm sure, first of all, cold calls suck. I've been in sales since I was 8 years old. Cold calls are the worst. It's not easy, but you did it because and then $5,000 in 72 hours, which is a hell of a lot more money. And what happened after that?
Yeah. So here's what I recognized is that when I first started, and really, like you said, it came down to me making a decision about myself. Am I a loser or am I? And for me, I was very clear on the answer. I was very clear on the answer to that. And so I made a decision that I'm worth more than me sleeping in my car. And I took action against that. Now, we can go really deep into how and why action taking, whether or not you believe you're even worth doing it or seeing results or positive results, is a thing. But like for me, what transpired was a lot of learning. So when I started making these offers, I was like, okay, I'm diving in. It's kind of like a beta test. I'm diving in. I'm learning from the results of my action. I can improve upon those things. And that's exactly what happened. Actually, I started helping people create and launch online courses. That was my very first thing that I focused on, because I did content creation and video marketing for other corporations and companies.
Right.
And so I was just helping my people do the same thing. Well, I quickly realized that I couldn't just focus on one piece of the puzzle, because we also know that just like this podcast, an online course or a coaching program or whatever it is, you can create it. But if you don't have an audience that wants it, you don't have a means to market the thing, then it doesn't matter that you have the thing. And so I quickly realized that I needed to broaden my focus, yet narrow the scope of the result that I wanted to create for my client. And, I went through my own process of clarifying my brand, and that quickly then changed into the 5-figure work week. Now from there, like, this is the cool thing. Like your listener may be like listening, like, well, yeah, maybe that's not my thing, or maybe like I can't resonate with exactly what you're doing, Michael. But what I've recognized is that the more I can focus and help my client have a specific result, that has been the biggest difference in how my business has transpired. Now, it's kind of crazy to think like, hey, I'm the most regular. I'm not like some fun, like crazy different individual than anyone else on this planet. I'm not like one of those people that are special. I'm the regular dude. Like, we hung out. I'm regular. Okay. Yeah. Normal. And you're shaking your head like, oh, guys, totally a regular, normal dude. Nothing spectacular. Right.
But I think that's the magic in your brand.
Well, I agree. And, I kind of get cheeky with it. Like, I am a regular dude, but I happen to experience irregular results in my life. Just 2 weeks ago, like I'm not saying this to impress, but it blows my mind that I can be myself. I can put out a message that makes sense for me, that resonates with a certain subset of people. And gosh, we did almost 20 grand 2 weeks ago in new business. And I'm like walking around my house here in like my undies and, drinking my coffee and just like hanging out and life. And the thing that really I want to impress upon people is that we can see bigger results. We can see and achieve all of the things that we could ever dream of. Now, $20,000 in a week may not be a lot to someone. They might be, doing $52 million a year or $1 million a week. And so I totally get this, but the idea is that we can achieve results well above wherever we are now. It just takes us making a decision about who we are as a person and taking action against it. Those two things have been massive in my life.
Look, $20,000 a week, there's not many people in this world that are doing it. I mean, obviously there are people that are making way more than that a week as well.
For sure.
But at the same time, like your message resonates with the majority of the world, whereas like you can get to this point. The coolest part about life, though, and you talk about growth now, is that once you reach that point, you have more and more, you have aha moments, right? You realize, oh shit, I just made $1,000 in a week. That was easy. I used to think it was impossible. I just found out it's easy. Then what's next? So you're going to start talking about the 6-figure.
See, this is why I love you, Justin. We're talking about growth. You just plant that little seed. I love it. That is the next step. And, I super appreciate you saying this. And this, hopefully this resonates with people listening. Guys, if you're still listening, freaking bravo, because, that's the name of the, even in my own world, I'm like, well, how do we get to that 6-figure work week? How do we get to that 6-figure work hour? Right? Mm-hmm. Like what's next and what's holding me back from achieving that? And man, I'm telling you what, I've learned so much just from taking action. Whether I've failed or I felt like I've won, you learn. And that's where growth really happens in the doing, I find. Yeah. And so that's what it is. It's like, you know what, if I can do 20,000 a week, can I do 50,000? If I can do 50,000, can I do 100,000? If I can do 100,000, where's the limit? Where does this actually, and so that's what I'm excited for just in my own business. I'm super stoked. Like you said, the mastermind is just growing like crazy, and it's not expensive, but it is exclusive. Like, we only extend invitation to people that understand what we're about and kind of subscribe to the same kind of mentality. And by the way, like, I'd love to invite your your audience, of course, to the mastermind. It's $5 a month, but in that community, we talk a lot about this, not just what it is, like, hey guys, let's grow, but it's like, also, because I am an active practitioner of my own business right now, hey, here's what I did that failed. Here's what I did that worked in ways that I never imagined. Here's something that can help you to get on more stages, or to create a better brand, or to attract better clients, or to break into high ticket coaching. We can talk about all of those things in depth, because I'm doing it right now. And none of this would happen if I never took action from.
Yeah. And guys, look, $5 a month, that's what, half of Netflix? Is that even I think more than half or less than half? I don't even know how to, I'm not talking about $5 a month. We're talking about 5-figure work weeks.
Boom.
But look, here's the thing. If I invest in, right, and we talked about what I have coming in the pipeline, which is a large ticket offer to help them level up. But like, I know that if I say, okay, here's the price, I can 10x their dollar. For $5 a week, this guy's teaching you how to take to 5 figures a week. I highly recommend joining his group. And I usually do this at the end, but let's do it now. How do people join?
Yeah, easy enough. There's a couple of ways. The easiest way would be to, one, connect with me on Facebook. I think that's pretty much where I live. The link is all over my profile. It's on my Instagram. So if you're on social, hit me up. You'll see exactly how to do that. Yeah, it's really simple. It's an easy registration. We even have an affiliate program that we rolled out for it, because I want to reward my people for sharing this with their friends and family, and so that we can grow and attract the right community. But yeah, it's a quick link. I could say it out loud if you want. You can toss it in your show notes. I don't know what.
Yeah, say it out loud. Go.
Yeah, it's bit.ly. It's a bit.ly link, bit.ly, bit.ly /5 capital F capital W capital W, as in 5-figure work week, capital letters on those 3, 5 FWW work week with a capital capital M as in mastermind. So 5-figure work week, 5 FWW mastermind. That's it.
And that's it. So bit.ly /5 FWW mastermind. Get Boom. You on there. We'll drop it in the show notes. And then when I post this out on my social, the episode comes out. But, I highly recommend. And your group is something that I somehow stumbled upon, a while before it became the paid mastermind. And I'm still a part of it now. And I think I've gone live with you in the group. Like, one thing you've done is you've taken these other experts and you bring them in, teach their methods as well. And, it's this really cool process where it becomes family. And, there's so many Facebooks with hundreds and even thousands of people. And you look at them and you go, this is trash. It's nothing but BS, people trying to sell you something. And the one thing that you've done that's legitimate is that it's built in, it's a mastermind, although open for the masses with integrity. The whole thing is built already. The whole thing is a family, and that's very, very rare on the Facebook world these days as entrepreneurs. My favorite is when people friend me and then I get a message right away. I'm like, oh, here we go. I don't even read the message. I unfriend them.
Yeah.
It's just not the way that I operate. It's not the way that I do business. And so I want to acknowledge you for sure. So one thing I wanted to talk about was, we talked about that rock bottom moment, first $5,000 by paying phone calls, and that was on you. But when you start to begin to grow to massive levels, get to 5 figures, and look, I want you guys to understand the low end of 5 figures is over $500,000. Let's put that into perspective. To get to that level, there's other things you have to do. What are the things that you've done and the people that you surrounded yourself to get to that? How do you learn how to do that?
Yeah, great question. This is where it gets really interesting because, I speak to thousands of people and get a lot of feedback. And the one thing that people expect me to talk about, because money, right? 5-figure work week, we're talking about dollars, which is a finite thing, which somehow lends itself to systems and processes and things like that. Yeah, I've got those in place. I don't like to work a whole lot prior to them being able to work with my one-on-one clients. I want to put out good content. I want to be living my life. I want to hang out with my girlfriend, my daughter, and travel. I love doing those things. And so, yes, there are some systems and processes in place, but much bigger than that is mentorship for me is huge. I'm always on the prowl for the next mentor that can assist me in shortening the time gap from where I am and where I'd like to be. So mentorship is massive. And then I have my own higher level masterminds that I'm a part of. It seems cliche. it seems cliche to say this, but that is so powerful and so true. You may not know this, but if you were to take this, your phone, you take your phone and you throw it in the refrigerator or the freezer, well, guess what? It gets colder. It assimilates to what's around it.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if you have the newest iPhone. Let's say by the time you're listening to this, you have the iPhone 408, right, with brain scanner capabilities. You throw that in a freezer, well, the phone's getting cold. Okay, it doesn't matter what's on the inside of that. Yeah. And so for me, it's the network of people that I surround myself with. It's the people that are doing 6-figure work weeks. It's the person, like, for example, on my bookshelf right here, I've got a book by one of my friends, Tony, Side Hustle Millionaire. He sold his company for $2.3 million after just a short while of starting this thing. And I've never done that.
Yep.
I don't have experience doing that. So like now I get to network with him. I get to rub shoulders with him. And does it cost money sometimes to do that? Yeah. I've flown out to LA just so that we can hang out for a weekend and I can actually understand more about his business. But that's money I would never consider spending anywhere else other than rubbing shoulders with that person. So for me, I would strongly urge you to take this to your core, that it is the environment that you put yourself in. Even my very home, like, I don't usually talk about this, Justin, because it's really personal to me. I very rarely will invite people to my home because I'm sensitive to energies. I like my space. I like certain routines. And so for me, like, my home environment is super important. Mm-hmm. It's built around my unique thoughts. It's like, I don't have a dining room table because I don't eat dinner sitting down. I eat dinner standing up. I stand because I love to be, like, even right now while recording this very podcast, I'm standing. When I do live trainings in my mastermind, like last night, we did an 1.5 hour training on how to go from 0 to 10K plus in a week. It was an 1.5 hour training, and I stood for the entire thing. That's part of my lifestyle. I just that gets me going. It keeps me creative. So I design things around me. My environment is mine. The people I keep in my life, that's intention. And it's all geared towards what do I want to accomplish with the time that I have on this planet. I believe that we're all built for something amazing. It doesn't always have to look the same. Your amazing can be very different than my amazing, and it's all amazing. But we get to curate that. We get to prune that bush into the shape that we want with our. It could be, Edward Scissorhands style, or it could be, Mr. Miyagi style with like little tiny clippers. Like, you do it the way that you want. And by doing so, you start attracting the people, the ideas, the opportunities, the success, the achievements, all of those things that you've ever wanted comes from having the confidence to do life like you want. And so that's where I take it. Yeah, the systems then are form follows. If I want it to function a certain way, then it kind of follows what I believe should look like. And just by doing those simple things, you win. You just win. You put yourself in a state of always looking at life as a gift. You become super grateful for what you have, yet you desire so much more. And that desire pushes you forward like you would not believe. And it comes from just living life how you want it. And so I know that may go against what some people thought the 5-figure week guys didn't talk about, but man, how pumped am I every single day to jump on a call with a client, or to go on a walk on a gorgeous day like it is today, or to spend time with you, Justin, in your audience. I mean, freaking blessed at every little thing that gets to happen in my world. So I say step into that action right there, and everything else becomes like just the most beautiful thing you could ever imagine.
Yeah. So first, that's part of why I love you versus a lot of other people in the space, is that you are real. You talk about the good. You talk about those little things in life that serve you beyond just the money. The money is just a byproduct that makes life a little bit more easy, less stressful, whatever the case may be. Like, your views on money, you make it, but you don't. It's not something that. And so that's why I like talking to you. Like, if you were all about money, dude, like, I wouldn't be having this conversation. And you know that. That's how I am. And you also talked about networks and the people you surround yourself and mentorship. You mentioned Tony Watley, who's been on the show, guys. So I want you to understand something. When you talk about successful people, they know other successful people. Like, it's not coincidence that Michael just mentioned Tony, who happened to be on my show, and they both happen to be in my network. Tony actually messaged me about 35 minutes before we hopped on this call. So, like, it is, we are in that same circle of people, because once you get to a certain level, that's who you want it. And I talk about that on this show all the time when I do my moments of growth, and I talk about your network. Your network is the most powerful thing. And not only from like, you have to understand, dude, like, I hang out with people on a regular basis that way more money than I do. Like, Fabio Viviani's companies are going to do $500,000 this year. Not even close. Or $500 million. Sorry, 500 million. I'm not even close to that. And so I look at that and I go, okay, the money part's not the important part. The important part is being great, being kind, and then your network will build that price. And you're shaking your head because you know what I'm talking about. But what is something somebody can do right now that they feel like, okay, I feel like I'm on the cusp of something. How do I level up? How do I get to that 5 figures? What's the first step in your mind?
Yeah, I'd say the first step is definitely to make a decision for yourself, and I would say even deeper than that, make a promise to yourself that this is like whatever that thing is that you think about. Like if I were to say, what does your future look like? What are you working towards? Whatever that looks like, whatever the first thing is that popped up in your brain that lights you up, and then you're like you get giddy, and you get butterflies in your stomach. Make that a reality. Take action towards that thing, like literally right now. The making decisions, promises to yourself, and taking action. It's just like anything else. It's something you can develop. I find that with the people that have these big, great, amazing ideas and aren't taking action, it's not because they're not capable. It's not because they're incompetent. It's not because they're lazy. Even it's because they haven't developed the muscle. They haven't developed the ability to take the actions. It's just like anything else. If you're going to go to the gym, well, you can keep lifting those 5-pound weights. You're not going to see much change. Or if you want real change in your physical body, the only way we can do that is to get through resistance. So maybe you pick up the 10 pounds and you're like, oh my gosh, this is pretty simple. What can I do 20? Do 20. Can I do 40? Do 40. And your muscles grow because you put them through resistance. But it's really interesting what happens when you practice these things. When you work out, when you go to the gym, you're exercising. It becomes simpler and simpler to do a heavier weight. And the same is true for taking action in your life and towards those goals that you really have, the things that really lights you up. It's something that can be practiced. So, for example, for you listening right now, it may be really simple for you to pick up a call or pick up a phone and cold call somebody, right? Or that may be the most dreadful thing you could think of. For you, it might be, I can go live. I'm really great in person. I'm able to tell my story. And that's the easy part. Well, then what's not the easy part? Like, why aren't we the results that we want? And it's my contention that we haven't practiced taking bigger actions. And so if we know that the only way to have what we've never had is through that resistance point, well, we got to find it first. And the only way you can do that is by taking action. So I say bigger action, and that is very subjective to where you're at in your life. So if you're making $1 million a month right now in your business, well, there's bigger actions you're not taking. There are bigger steps that you haven't taken. If you're at 0 right now, well, there's still bigger actions that you're taking. And so, man, I'd say step one, and this is a long-winded answer, but I feel like the context of that was really important, is to take bigger actions. Practice that. Like if you're scared to get out of bed in the morning, if you're anxious, if you feel like you're in depression, and the hardest thing for you right now would be to tell your best friend, to tell your mom, to tell your sister, to tell your brother, your spouse, your kids, whomever, to have that conversation. Do it now. Have that. Literally text your bestie and say, hey man, it's 11:30 a.m. I'm still in bed and I just feel like worthless. Guess what your friend is going to do? They're going to reciprocate. They're going to be like, they're going to love on you. You're going to see the results from the action you took. But the only way to get what you've never had is to do things you've never done. And so do that. Practice that right now. Right now. Like stop listening and go do it now. Like that. It's that important.
Yeah, it really is. And then come back and finish the episode.
Yes.
But, and there was so much wisdom in all of that. And I think it's so true. And I love how you had mentioned, like, it doesn't matter where you are. There's growth that you can take in all of that, which is my brand, right? The reason I love the Growth Now movement and then Growth Live is when I look at the attendees, these are people that have bought tickets. I'm not talking movers. I'm not talking the speakers. There's going to be people in attendance who have bought tickets that one in particular runs a $10 million a year company. And I know there's going to be people there that hate their day job. They're super depressed and they're just looking how can they create happiness? Like literally, that's going to be the attendee. Like people ask me all the time, like, who's your audience? Hardest thing for me to pin. It's really anybody who's looking to grow from wherever they are right now. And that's without growth, we are dying. I really saying, and I really believe a lot of what, even though you are titled the 5-Figure Week, like our messages are with each other. And that's why it resonates. And that's why I was excited to finally have you come back on the show, spit your knowledge again, even though people haven't heard the first time. I swear this guy is always like this. He's always on point. But Michael, I wrap up all these episodes the same way, which is 5 rapid fire questions. But before we get there, is there anything else you'd like to add, since we've already told people how to get in touch?
No, dude, I think we freaking nailed it. Hopefully, this has been nothing but fire, no filler for you guys. And you're absolutely right. I'm always like this. Like, I have these conversations with my girlfriend, on stages. Like, it's this, you get the same guy. Man, I'm super pumped for your event. I want to say that, you didn't ask me to do this, but I'm going to do this. If you're listening to this, please make it a point to get in person. Proximity is the key to everything. Get in person with amazing people. One way you can do that is with Justin's event. Make sure you're getting in person. He keeps them, like you guys may not know this, but he keeps an incredible network, and they all come to his event. So get to his event. You owe it to yourself. Doesn't matter where you're at in your business, your life. You deserve to be there. So that's all I got, man. I just want a little plug for you. I believe in what you're doing. And so proximity is everything for me. The network is everything for me. And so get your booty to Justin's event.
Dude, love it, man. Thank you so much for the shout out. I appreciate it. The check is in the
I appreciate it. PayPal's fine. PayPal's fine.
How else do you think he gets to a 5-figure work week? It's all plugging. But no, so we're going to get the 5 rapid fire questions. As you know, since we've already been through this, some are fun, some are serious. I just ask you this, answer within one word, at the most one sentence. Are you ready?
Boom. Let's bring it.
First one is, what is your favorite smell?
Wet grass.
Nice. That's a good, although when I was a kid, I was allergic. So I'm not allergic now. So I like it now.
It's death for you. It's life for me. I don't know.
I love it. If you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
My mom's lumpy mashed potato.
What is the one non-negotiable trait that all of your friends have?
Honesty.
And at the end of your life, if you could be remembered for only one sentence, what would that sentence be?
That one sentence would be that Michael was known for doing the things that he couldn't.
That's powerful. I love that. And obviously this podcast is called The Growth Now Movement. So I wrap up every single episode with this one question. And that is, in your life, what has been your biggest moment of growth?
Stepping out of my ego to allow myself to really see myself as who and what I am. And I think that awareness piece is so massive for growth. But that's been the biggest shift in my own life, for sure. Just letting my ego, my pride go, so I can see who and where I'm at right now, so I can grow.
I love it. Dude, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom with my audience. Guys, make sure you go check him out. Check out the 5-figure work week if you're Michael. Again, thank you so much, man.
Dude, my honor, my pleasure, my privilege. Thanks for having me, Justin.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Growth Now movement. This is how you can really help me out. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please share it out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. And let's grow this movement to epic heights. And it's all going to be because of you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.